Autumn day here in Santiago, Chile, and we're coming to you live from the capital city for what should be an electric atmosphere inside the arena as Chile takes on Colombia here at the 2025 FIBA Women's AmeriCup. Two South American squads who know each other very well, getting set to battle it out, not just for bragging rights, but for positioning in an always tough group stage. We'll get an opportunity to see the schedule here this evening. First game we saw in Group E action, Puerto Rico with a 17-point victory over Mexico. And now the host Chile will take on Colombia. Here is the standings updated as of just moments ago. Team USA 3-0, Puerto Rico now 2-1, sitting in second spot. Chile looking to get their first win here in the group, and it would be a huge opportunity for them to do that. Carlin Gay alongside Amy Oliver. Thanks for joining us wherever you are, however you're doing so. Chile playing on home soil. Colombia bringing that traditional physical playing style. It's going to be a fun mix here tonight, Amy.
I think so. And you know, when you look at that, the host team, Chile, night one, they played the U.S., and that's a tough game for anyone, but they played hard, and I love that the entire time this arena was packed cheering on their team, and they dropped to Mexico as well, but it's a 17-point loss. It didn't feel like that. It felt like a tighter game, and again, they played extremely hard. So are they going to get closer tonight? And I have a feeling, I think this home squad in Chile is going to come out and give Colombia a run for their money.
Yeah, they had the tough losses you mentioned against Puerto Rico. It was a slow start to that one. They started much better against Mexico, able to hit some shots, and especially from their veteran Maybell Martinez, able to knock some down. They will be without their young star, Marta Mascarella, who is sitting out with a left leg injury. The volume goes loud in the arena because the host nation getting set to run out of the tunnel. We'll let the crowd tell you how it feels here in this one. Well, the story for Chile so far, a tough loss in game number one. It was a spirited effort for about a half against Team USA, but they were just overmatched, Amy. And then Mexico gave them a game where they showed some signs that they could put together a victory. Can they put together a complete game? That is the question. They'll have the opportunity now to do it in front of the home crowd.
And when you get this type of atmosphere, I mean, I know that viewers can't feel, unfortunately, through their phones, but our chairs are vibrating right now. I mean, there's nothing better as an athlete. I get the goosebumps. I want to get out there and play right now. There's nothing better than this is all for you. This is cheering for you. You want to sit down and defend tough. You want to hit shots. You want to play that way, and you just know this team will do that for their home crowd.
Nothing like playing for your national team. Chile and Colombia set to do battle, but first, the playing of the national anthems.
Muchísimas gracias. Y en el último equipo perfecto que vamos a escuchar el himno de Chile.
don't know about you, Amy, but I have goosebumps after that.
Every
Crowd
time.
going a cappella, singing the national anthem here in Santiago, Chile, the capital of the country. Wonderful opportunity to listen to it live and loud. All right, before we meet the two starting lineups, let's meet the starting lineups for the officials. They only really have three.
Hopefully there's no substitutions.
Hopefully there's no substitutions indeed. Garcia, Priapovic, and Rodriguez from Venezuela, Argentina, and Brazil, three of the best officials in the Americas. They'll be in charge of taking care of us here tonight. Colombia's starting five should remain similar to what they had in the previous three outings. Paz, Rios, Martinez, Munoz, and Gonzalez. And Manuela Martinez has been the catalyst for the team's offense, and she's going to have an interesting matchup with her opposing court guard in this one. All for Luis Cueca, the head coach of Colombia, who has his team now with one win in group play. Would love to get two here tonight. He's been the coach for this team for quite some time, and also spent some time in the U.S. coaching with the Bay Area and Phoenix of the Women's Premier Basketball Association. On the other side, Campos, the matchup that will mirror Rios in this one. Ojeda, Perez, Cosinho, and Sanchez. Perez getting the start for Moscarella, who was out with the injury. For that man right there, Christian Santander, the Argentinian, blowing bubbles, looking relaxed, but I promise you, he will be fired up and ready to go for this one.
He's actually warming his jaw up.
Yeah.
And when you think of it, he's very smart. Lots to say.
Inside of a minute, countdown to tip-off presented by Tissot. Two teams that are thinking about a victory here, but they have to take it quarter by quarter. When Colombia started well, they were able to finish it and build on it. Chile haven't had that opportunity to start well and see what you can build and kind of finish with.
And I would take that a little bit further. When you're playing in this type of atmosphere, and even as the opponent, it's almost one possession at a time or one sequence at a time. And can you stack good sequences? Because we've seen 10 really solid teams here in this event. A couple of them have had trouble with consistency, right? 40-minute game, and you can't play 12 minutes of good basketball. You're just not going to win those games here for the most part.
10 of the best teams in this region. Only 8 will move on to the knockout stage. 2 will have their tournament cut short. Chile and Colombia hoping it is not them.
It's a very big matchup. We look at the standings. Both of these teams are fighting to get out of that spot at the bottom, and so don't get it twisted. There's a lot on the line here in the last game of day 3.
Off we go. Colombia in the black uniforms, Chile in the home white. And Rios and Campos mirror each other all night. We'll keep an eye on that matchup. Here's Paz. Maybell Martinez got going in the win over Mexico. Misses her first attempt here from 3. She knocked down 3 3-pointers maybe in the first half. And that really started things early for Colombia and got their offense settled. Sanchez underneath, draws 2. The cutting Campos with the finish, can't get it to go. And a foul is going to be called on Sanchez.
I have just been watching under the glass, the rebounding efforts. Both of these teams coming out with a different level of physicality. I'm watching the matchup inside, and it's fun. Keep an eye on it. Lots of bumping going on early.
Paz with a tough pass. A better catch by Gonzalez, who kept it in play. Now Paz with her back to the basket. Banging with Sanchez. Goes off the glass, gets her own. And then Ojeda able to get it off the pinball. Campos. Nice pass inside, and Ojeda was blocked as she brought it down below her waist. And you're taught not to do that when you get inside, right, Amy?
Yeah, absolutely. Try to keep it up, but I almost looked like she fumbled. That was a tough pass because the spacing was so tight. A couple times now, Colombia has smothered the player on the baseline with the ball.
Cosinho, the captain of this unit, trying to find Campos and overshot her.
Colombia almost, well, both teams, but Chile almost looks like they're jumpy.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's there, the intention, the speed, the intensity, defensively, coming up with some early stops, but they do look a little jumpy and certainly understandable.
There's sometimes when you can come into an environment like this where the crowd is fired up, where it helps, and others where it hurts. It's almost like you have too much energy in a building, and that's what it feels right now for Chile as Paz gets scoring going here for Colombia. Sanchez, maybe that will settle them down. Manuela Rios in the front court. Gonzalez inside the Paz once again. She puts it on the deck, spins over her opposite shoulder. Can't get that one to fall, and Campos with the rebound and the push. Perez getting the start. In the lane, Sanchez at the foul line. Rushing to the rim. Can't get that to drop, but she'll have to earn them at the line.
And Sanchez has been giving maximum effort on the defensive end against Paz, and whether she's behind, standing, and holding her ground or on the glass. So offensively, when she attacks and she can draw a couple quick fouls, it's going to help this team out, because Paz is really that, they don't have a whole lot of size on the bench coming in. So that's fun, great. Yes, you draw a foul. It's who you drew the foul on.
Yeah. Saw that skill there by Rios. She could probably play soccer if she wanted to as well, but Colombia happy that she is the starting point guard. Meanwhile, Sanchez, who toes the line, missed her first free throw. She's averaging just under 2 points per game, but it's not about her scoring. It's about the energy and the screening that she does to free up some of the offensive players for Chile. Paz, hands to Rios. Rios watched by Campos. Nice pass by Rios to find Paz. A flat-footed shot not there. She even got the flat-footed rebound. It's tied up. Possession arrow in favor of Chile.
And Paz was not ready to catch that ball. And you kind of get the sense that Chile's scouted Paz and said, anytime she brings that ball down, get your hands on it, because they've got 2, sometimes 3 players surrounding her.
Yeah, get to her body. They've done a good job of that so far. Let's see how Paz can adjust. Sanchez wants it on the block, but really not making herself available at the moment. It's Perez with 6 to shoot. Perez on the bigger Paz. The drive, can't get it to drop. And Munoz pushing the other way. Jennifer Munoz, the captain of this squad. Maybelle Martinez, the oldest player on the team and one of the oldest players here in the tournament at 38 years of age. Paz, awkward shot. Off the mark. Gonzalez banging in for a rebound. Can't get it. And it lands in the hands of Ojeda. He tips it along to Campos. Cosinio available down low. That's offensive foul. The offhand getting Rios in the chops that time.
That's another example of the right intention and a good look, but just a little too much. That's a tough angle to see extension from. I didn't see extension from behind, but I'm assuming that's what the officials saw out there. So sitting at 2-2.
Yeah, it feels like Cosinio got penalized that time for just being bigger. Second team foul on Chile here in the early going. Here's Rios. Off the ball, a foul's going to be called on Cosinio. And if it is indeed on her, that's going to be her second in back-to-back possessions. And it is. So she'll hit the bench, and that will bring on Lubicic, who will get a nice hand.
That's a tough break for Cosinio. Yeah, kind of gets wrapped up a little bit on the baseline. I think it's more, it was right in front of the official. Had it not been, maybe that's one that you don't get caught on.
Smart play there by Maybelle Martinez, the way that she stopped to force Cosinio to foul. Rios' 3 not there. And Campos at 5'4", plucks down another rebound. Campos to the rim, blocked by Gonzalez. And Gonzalez able to get it ahead to Munoz. Munoz has Martinez with her, tried to find her. It's going to go out of bounds.
Listen, when you're not playing at your best, you're really happy when the other team isn't either. And so both teams, again, you see the attack mentality, trying to get up the court quickly with pace. A lot of just fumbling. going on right now, but I like close games above all else. As Paz is going to take her first break, and this is where you really watch Colombia and see how they adjust with a little less size out there.
Yeah, they go small. Vente on the floor. She's on the ball, guarding it now as Ojeda trying to drive. Lubicic on the baseline. Tough pass. It's caught by Campos. Campos with the layup. How'd she get that to go? Crafty move that time by Campos with the offhand. Gives her team the first lead of the night. Munoz. Rios with 5 to shoot. Vente delivers the screen. Rios banging her way to the rim. Can't get it to go. Lubicic will push the other way. The transition defense that time by Colombia as they hustle back. Get into your picture. Perez turns the corner.
Let's go with that ball before the help can fully commit and get over. That's a smart finish from Perez, who didn't quite use the screen either, so she took it the hard way.
That's a beautiful pass by Rios. Vente couldn't finish it. She's still battling for the offensive rebound. Somehow kept her feet in bounds to find Munoz for 3. Can't get it to go, and Sanchez vacuums in the rebound. That was great hustle that time by Vente. 4-point advantage for Chile. Lubicic. She'll tee up the 3. Off the mark. You can hear the crowd just waiting to explode in this gym every time the ball goes towards the net.
And as a player, you want those, like, really want them. You always want your shots going, obviously, but that's a little extra oomph to it.
They come alive now defensively. Gonzalez silences them with a 3. Perez trying to drive. Spacing an issue right now for Chile. Let's see if they can figure it out. Campos, 2-man game with Sanchez. Campos attacking. Left her feet without really much of a plan. Banged it off a defender. It is going to be Chile basketball.
And I would also chalk that up to another spacing issue, right? Too much defense. This is an adjustment for Chile. Paz not really shooting the 3 ball, but her sub does.
Yeah.
And so that's where you got to be a little bit, where maybe you start the game a half step off, a little more present on the catch.
Rios subs out of the game. That will bring in Lopez on the floor as Lubicic off the inbound. Able to get it to go. Caicedo also on the floor for Colombia, 7 in black. Carolina Lopez. Gonzalez, we've already seen her find a touch from the land beyond. 2 on the shot clock for Lopez to work with. Got it off in time. Backed it in from 3-point range.
It got real quiet in here quick. I mean, what was about to be an excellent defensive possession for Chile turns into a heartbreaker.
Ties the score at 8. Perez, strong drive. Got hit by Caicedo. And that will send her to the line. Here's the last 3 by Lopez.
Yeah, I mean, what else do? You get 2 players lunging right at you. I thought Colombia made a bit of an error in that they had solid post position inside and didn't go, but be quiet, Amy. 3s are worth more than 2s.
Officials will come together as Perez waits patiently at the foul line.
I'm not sure if has it been reported which player it's on.
Scores table seems to be all in check. It is certainly the 3rd team foul on Colombia. Valentina Lopez, meanwhile, will check in. Excuse me, the 2nd team foul on Colombia. And after all that, Perez will take 2 free throws here. Perez playing in the Chilean League this past season for Sportiva. A couple of her teammates on this Chilean national team. She averaged 12 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, and 2.5 dimes. Last year at the South American Championships, just under 10 points per game, 4 boards. for Chile and is able to cash out on the back end of those free throws. And Abdul into the game for Chile. She's number 8 in white, replacing Perez. Valentina Lopez inside for Bente. It's kicked back out Munoz. Munoz at the foul line. Good pull, can't get it to drop though. And then Abdul able to corral the rebound. Lubicic will tee up the 3. Off the mark, a battle underneath. And it's going to go the other way.
The crowd doesn't like it.
Not at all.
But I would love to continue to see Chile get that ball to Lubicic because she has a wonderful long-range three-point shot.
Yeah.
And so volume shooter, keep feeding her the rock when she's open, please.
Coming into this game shooting 50% from three-point range.
And to match it on the other side, Moscarella, the player who's not available for Colombia, she's actually was shooting 67% from 3. Not a high volume, but still very efficient. So they missed that in hers. It's like we're going to get a coach's challenge.
Yeah, we're going to get a review of the last play. So we'll listen in to the officials here as they go to the monitor.
Okay, this is head coach Ale, white team. We are going to review which team goes out the bound. The initial decision was blackboard. Frame by frame. Right? Other angle, yes, frame by frame. Black, 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 black. One more time. Black, 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 black. Okay. The last touch was black. Okay?
I agree.
Are you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So, after the review, the head coach Alex is successful. The court changed the initial decision. We have white ball, okay? The game closes. The game closes, okay? 40 seconds, the shot clock. Let's go. Europe up. Europe up. White ball.
Daniel Neves and Larissa Rodriguez, we appreciate them wearing the microphone so we can eavesdrop in on those conversations. You heard it right there. Chile basketball after the challenge. They'll inbound with 14 on the shot clock. Ojeda gets it inside, can't get it to fall. The follow's not there. And Caicedo will push the other way. Vente running with her. Vente sealing down low, gets the pass, and she's fouled before she even really can corral the basketball.
And you got to make a decision as a defender there. You either stay fully behind, you're pinned, you got to pull the chair and fight around. The problem with that is you do it at the right time, it ain't going to look good for you, right? And so just being proactive with your feet and not getting pinned behind, probably important.
Munoz looking pure on that jump shot as that touched nothing but 9 line to give Colombia the lead. Abujelas sets the screen for Campos. Abujelas now looking for it on the block. Ojeda takes the 3 instead, and Vente vacuums it in. Chile 1 foul away from being in the penalty. Let's see if Colombia is aggressive here in terms of attacking the rim. Vente will set. It's Lopez coming around. She'll pull it back out and try it all over again. Abujelas stepped up nicely, but the rotation late that allows Vente for the layup. Three assists and counting now for Colombia on their 12 points. Campos backs out and finds Ojeda down low. She likes this matchup. Draws 2. Takes it to Campos. What a cut by Campos. Can't get it to drop though.
How many? I can count 6 points off the top of my head that unfortunately Chile's just left right on the rim.
It's Lopez to Valentina Lopez. She's blocked by Ojeda. What a rejection. Lubicic watched by Caicedo. Caicedo's such a tough defender at her size. Lubicic shoots over the top of her. I feel like Caicedo really baited her into that play.
Oh, the Colombian defense is so intense. The pressure's so high that Chile's taking those shots because they just want to get the ball. It feels like they want to get the ball out of their hands.
Yeah.
And they're having trouble even just moving it to each other.
Carolina Lopez hiding behind Vente, now pops out and finds Vente on the roll.
If you leave for help, you'd hope that there's a backside drop, right? Otherwise, just stay put and then trust your teammate to challenge a shot.
Munoz in the open floor. Campos takes the take foul. And Colombia asking for an unsportsmanlike. Larissa Rodriguez smiling at the request. It was close to a potential take foul, though. Let's see it on the replay. Not really an attempt at the basketball, in my opinion.
Yeah, you don't see that often in transition like that. Sometimes you would see that maybe if a player's down or...
Yeah, they're going to have the discussion about it. By the way, there's going to be free throws no matter what, because that is the 5th team foul here in this quarter for Colombia. And as I say that, we'll get the review to see if it is indeed going to be upgraded to an unsportsmanlike.
Okay, we are going to review if the contact meet the criteria for the on-grade. Okay, normal speed, make camera, normal speed. Okay, normal speed, normal speed, normal speed. Other angle in the best light. No, in the best light. This. Yeah. Okay. Okay. There was illegal contact, the white player, but she attempted to play the ball. This is a normal basketball play. Okay. Are you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. After the review, the contact did not meet the criteria for the on-grade. The court remains. Okay. The gate closed. The gate closed. It's okay. The shot clock.
Number 2, white, number 2.
Okay. Nice. It's okay. Right. The gate close is okay. The shot clock is okay. Okay. That's right. White ball. Okay. Let's go. After the review, maintain the normal foul. Personal foul.
Danny Neves, a crew chief, delivering the call. So this is just a regular foul.
And this is why you love them taking a look, because in real time,
yeah,
you say that was definitely an unsportsmanlike foul.
Yeah.
But when you watch it in slow motion back on review, the play was initially on the ball. Munoz was going so hard that she actually forced kind of a contortion of the defender's body. And I love that the officials take their time and take a second to look and play on.
Yeah. I was nodding my head to you, Amy, off camera, like that wasn't unsportsmanlike, but seeing it in slow motion, which we had the ability to do on that review, she did try to make a play on the basketball.
Unfortunately, it was unnecessary because her teammates were sprinting back on defense. Nonetheless, play on.
Lubicic, top of the key. Caicedo has been all over her since entering the game, and it's another quick turnover from Lubicic, but she gets bailed out as it falls through the hoop. 5 seconds remaining in the quarter. Caicedo has to put it up. She does get it off in time, but can't get it to drop, and that's how we'll end the first 10 minutes of play. A spirited effort from both squads, and it's a 4-point game after one.
And that final possession is how you get some energy back in the building. Not that they needed it, but a little bit more. What a shot. I will say, again, it looks... It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Not a lot of movement, but if you're confident, you got the ball in your hand and you see a window, you have the green light, you take that shot, but you got to be confident to knock those down. Lubicic certainly is that.
Yeah, if you're Coach Satandel and you're 50% from three-point range in a game, you probably have a neon green light to take some of those. Best plays from the first quarter on your screen right now. And a 4-point game. And this is probably the best start both these teams have had so far in the tournament.
Yeah, highly competitive. Off the tip, Colombia was really pounding it inside, and then they made the substitution for Paz, and Chile kind of started getting a little bit more momentum. They missed about 6 to 8 points right at the rim. The game's different if they make those. But when they do play with pace and get the ball moving around, they're tough, like to get downhill. That was a big kick out, 3-point attempt right there. Colombia's also knocked down some long-range shots.
And the matchup between the 2 point guards hasn't really delivered just yet between Rios and Campos, but it's been the bigs being able to show the range, and that was Gonzalez right there. Beautiful rotation on that shot. Lubicic was able to get inside. We saw her hit the 3 to close the quarter, and that bank shot to end the first period, helping the offense for Colombia. They have a 4-point lead. Well, you can scan the QR code on your screen right now for Courtside 1891. It is your companion app for this FIBA Women's AmeriCup here in 2025. You can get the streams, the schedules, the scores, and so much more from every FIBA event. Courtside 1891, your home for international basketball. A near sellout crowd here being pumped up by Mary the mascot, the official mascot of the FIBA Women's AmeriCup.
Both teams dead even on the glass at 11, but 9 defensive and 2 offensive rebounds. Colombia with 3 more attempts on the rim.
And it'll be Colombia basketball to start the second quarter. Caicedo on the floor with Lopez. Mabel Martinez now on the rock, back in the floor, as is Paz. And a foul line jump shot wide open, and that's calmly knocked down by Valentina Lopez. Alicon on the floor with Ramirez, Abujeres, Andariel, and this is Lubicic, who is open for 3, and it's going to be an offensive foul call before the shot, no basket.
Yeah, watching in real time, Paz, and that whistle only gets drawn because Paz was trying to fight over top of the screen to help her guard out. You can see trying to be present on the catch. If that effort to recover on the perimeter isn't there, no problem, no moving screen. But unfortunately, that's Chile's got to communicate. Guard's either going to come down and recover bottom, or Paz can switch out and take it. But just those types of errors, I'll say.
Yeah, Abieres was complaining that Paz had her elbows up to her chin, but she was moving way before that. So the argument falling on deaf ears on that last possession. Paz and Abieres battling once again. Paz kicks it out. Caicedo took a look at a 3 and then attacking baseline, and a late whistle from the official, who is all the way at center court, and you hear the crowd's reaction.
You got to have tough skin to be an official. Let's see. And listen.
That's a foul.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, right? Displacement, but also just not planted, and so that it's a good call.
Yeah, right call in the end. Martinez with an air ball. Cousinho back on the floor, almost traveled, somehow got that pass away. Almost traveled again and finally gets it to Sanchez. Feels like her mind's moving a little faster than her body right now. Lubicic. Sanchez with the jab, working on Paz. Paz got a fingertip to it and then got a fingertip to it again. It's out of bounds, 2.7 to shoot. Coach Santander is going to take a timeout. With 8:47 remaining in the second quarter, a 6-point advantage for Colombia, and we'll get an opportunity to listen into the Chile huddle.
Que no nos cueste llegar a tomar un tiro tan tarde. 2-7 queda. Pensemos en el tiro antes. Va a sacar Damaris. Es de este lado. Y armamos. Connie, Valentina, Jovi, Bárbara. Jovi, salís acá. Y Bárbara, back pick a Valentina. A ver si entra el pase ahí. posible que cambien y es posible que estén en línea de pase, así que pases picados. Hay que resolver con 2,7. Si anotamos 22, si anotamos 22.
Oh, FIBA Secretary General Andreas in the building. Looking good, had an opportunity to chat with him early on. He's in good spirits, made the trip after taking in women's Eurobasket. Now taking in the top competition here at the senior national team level in the Americas. He'll be here the rest of the weekend.
I would love to know the air miles. But what an atmosphere to come to, and that makes all those long flights like well worth it. Just being here and taking it in. So much hard work from the entire FIBA organization, but this is what it's all about.
An offensive foul going to be called, and it's on Ojeda. And she was not set on the screen. Let's see here on the replay. Yeah, pushing Lopez there to try and make herself available for pass.
Just a little too much extension, but
it's a 13 foul, by the way, for Chile in this quarter already. Lopez inside the Paz. Sanchez on her. Paz with the good footwork, can't get it to go. Got her own, and that popped out. Alarcon with the basketball. Ojeda. Cosinio, let's see if she can get going. Caicedo watching her. Lubicic, the leading scorer for Chile, averaging 15 points per game in the tournament. Cosinio for three from the corner. Can't get it to drop, and Lopez will vacuum it in.
I think this is the best defense we've seen Colombia play, and I mean, it has been the entire first half so far. Wow.
Paz spinning in the lane. That's the third time she's had one go halfway down and pop back out. Lubicic stops, retreats to the three-point line. Might have had a layup, and now they'll have to run a set. Alarcon around the Sanchez screen. Her three's not there. Lit on the rim right now for both teams. Lopez to Valentina Lopez. Paz making herself available. She's going to try again from the block. Was blocked that time by Sanchez. Ball up for grabs. Paz from her backside gets an assist to Valentina Lopez.
Also from your center, diving on the floor to retain possession of the ball.
I don't know how many backside assists Paz had to the highlight reel there. A three for Lubicic does not fall. And right now this feels like danger time for Chile here early in the second quarter. Paz asking for it, gonna have to clear the lane. Lopez around Paz. Good footwork, was blocked by Sanchez. Lubicic pushing the other way. Alarcon, she is going to penetrate, blocked off. Sanchez on the run. Halfway down and out. The iron has been unkind.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, Colombia has definitely got them on their heels a little bit.
And as Paz finally getting one to go and lets out a scream, as if to say, finally, the ball stays down.
And all of a sudden, it's a 10-point game.
Yeah.
Chile's got to execute offensively, run your set, run something, right? Hit a screen or...
It's Cosinio to the rim.
Hard baseline drive, and actually a screen came. Shea rejected the screen. That's about as clean as a look as you've seen Chile have in a while here.
And Cosinio able to reduce the lead to 8. Timeout Colombia. 5:42 remaining here in the second quarter. They lead 22-14. Let's head to their huddle.
Que si ya vas en la penetración y ellas ya están esperando el pase, ¿por qué paras si no vas y pones una bandeja? Bien, bien tirada. Los tiros le empiezan a entrar, la empieza a meter. No vemos ni en izquierda tenemos línea de penetración. Cuidemos el aro. No nos vayan fácil allá. Rombo, Mayra. Que la entra. Manu. Cata. Daniela. Y Jennifer. Jennifer. Manu va a salir de una por acá. Y vos vas a salir por acá, de una. ¿Listo? Abrís y vos pones la pantalla directa. Dani, pero vos apareces a esta caída que nos está dando fácil o nos da ese tiro ahí.
Dale. 1, 2, 3.
Here's the last layup by Cosinho, able to get that to go through the hoop, and that must be a welcome sign or a welcome sight, really, for this arena that is jam-packed and has been energized, giving Chile the energy that they need, but they just haven't been able to keep it sustained with shot making.
Yeah, if they can stay in the fight, they'll have that crowd as their advantage the entire game, but you've got to come up with some stops here.
And here's the full pressure. They get the trap and the turnover. Cosinho says slow it down. Sanchez to the rim.
Cosinho was on to something. Gave up a wide open layup, still found another wide open layup, basically.
Rios directing traffic. Chile will try a zone for the first time tonight. At the nail, Vente. I don't know how she got that pass through, but Gonzalez couldn't handle it. Perez back the other way. Ojeda with the much smaller Caicedo on her. Caicedo fouls her, and that will send her to the line.
Excellent patience from O'Hare, just kind of, I think, waiting for the foul. She had to work really hard for that catch, first of all, but then when she had the ball in her hands, took her time, and now in the last 2-3 minutes of the game, you're seeing Chile settle down a little bit on offense, make some better reads, some strong finishes and attacks.
An 83% free throw shooter so far in this tournament. Ojeda misses the first, but she's averaging 8.5 points and 5 rebounds, playing a lot of minutes here in Santiago, averaging 32 minutes per contest. And some tough minutes, seeing a lot of size so far in the games that have been played by Chile.
Full court pressure.
It's been working for them thus far, as they've been able to speed up Colombia and their offense, get them out of sorts. Now they fall back into a zone. I always love seeing the communication of a zone with the cutters. Rios will take the three. Off the mark. Ojeda touched it last, so it'll stay here.
And you saw Colombia right there struggle a little offensively. It ends up turning into a one-pass shot offense. Now, it was Rios, and she's one heck of a player. I don't know if you want to leave her open.
She's tried the inbound and banking it off the back of a defender in 2 straight games. This will be the third if she's able to pull it off. Wasn't able to do it on that pass. 4 to shoot. Caicedo takes it. Can't make it. And a flat-footed rebound by Ojeda. A good response here for Chile after that last timeout. Perez trying to shake Rios. Perez spinning on the baseline. Perez, tough layup. Can't see it through. Chile match up in transition. Rios, Gonzalez, she'll pull. Way too strong. Last touched by Colombia.
And so it looks like Chile's going zone on make, man on a miss, and that's, I love playing that as a player. Number one, it just kind of keeps it interesting, but also it's tough to go against that. Constantly trying to switch your offense, and even though you can run the same offense, it's different, right? Screening off different zones as opposed to players, and when the pace is high, it's very tough to make those types of adjustments on the fly out there, especially when it's loud too. You have to communicate.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've played in gyms where it's extremely loud. How tough is it truly to communicate defensively like it is in this gym?
It's so tough. I mean, you can't. You basically can't. And offensively too.
Yeah. Sanchez on the offensive rebound. Crowd wants her to shoot, so she does. Look at Campos flying in for the rebound. Cousinho for three. That's off the mark. 3 opportunities at goal that time. They come away empty handed. 4 offensive rebounds and counting for Chile. 5 for Colombia. Munoz crossing over on Cousinho. Tough shot. She got fouled. She'll go to the line. It was a late whistle, but it was the correct call.
Munoz is so tough. She seems to have the ball in her hands when her team needs some composure and calmness. Always coming up with, like, they're not huge plays where you go, they're game-winning plays, but when you stack enough of them up, they impact winning, no doubt.
She started for the bronze medal winning squad at the 2024 South American Championship, where she averaged 5 points, 3 rebounds. Has played professionally in Argentina, Bolivia, Colombia, and Uruguay. And anytime you bounce around in different leagues, different countries, having to learn a different style, it's not just about adjusting to your team, but it's adjusting to the entire play of the entire nation.
Yeah, I always think that's an advantage, though, because it's like a tool belt, and you just keep putting tools in your belt, learning different ways to play. And the biggest advantage for Colombia, as Munoz makes a second, is their chemistry together. This core of this team has been together for about half a decade now, and they've been playing like it.
Munoz is the captain of that core. Trying to get back to the World Cup. Campos' 3 not there. A battle for that rebound. Bodies on the floor. And it looked like Perez was stepping out of bounds as she touched the basketball.
This is Colombia's defense again. I'm just so impressed with the way, and I just, doing a couple of their games in the last couple of days, I don't remember this type of, I mean, they're everywhere. Intensity, effort, multiple switches. I think they're switching a lot, and you have to have certain lineups to be able to do that, but they've caused so much issues.
Pass picked off by Ojeda. Campos to the rim. And that's going to lead to a timeout for Colombia. 2:30 remaining here in this first half. Coach Cueca doesn't want this crowd to get involved. He calls a quick timeout with a 5-point lead. Let's head to his huddle.
Tiene que poner la pelota aquí. Baja y baja. Y regresa el balón. Y apenas regresa el balón y empieza a atacar un ladito y le vayan a llegar, pasa. Y el poste le aparece. Después de la presión, se están quedando en la zona. Entonces, hacemos esquina. Si este es el poste, no importa la que sea, paso. El 2-1 para el tiro y si no me voy. Y cuando cambie la pantalla.
Hello, Carlos. Executive Director for FIBA in the Americas, Carlos Alves. Great guys here in the Americas, and a great leader taking this one in here in Chile. Always sharply dressed, by the way.
Kind of comes with the territory, doesn't it?
Sure does. Fabienne, the FIBA's America's president, as well from Argentina, making the short trip over here to Chile. Everyone in the building. So out of the timeout, a 5-point advantage for Colombia. Coach Cueca trying to silence this crowd a little bit. He would love to get a basket here coming out of this break. Rios triple team that time. A 3 on the way. No good. And Perez will clear. Perez saw an opening. Sanchez was alone, and the crowd, for the second time, almost imploring her to shoot. Lubicic left alone. Don't want to leave her. And Vente with the rebound.
Well, Sanchez had a huge mismatch down low. Rios, a much smaller player, on her back, and that's, I think, where the crowd was hoping that ball would get back inside. They know their hoops here in Chile.
Yeah, sure do.
They really do. It's funny. They get after. They've been getting after the team for making mistakes, for missing some things.
Coach Satendel is on the bench. He is the official coach, but there's about 3,000 others in the crowd. They just don't have clipboards, but they have voices.
Oh, yes, they do. And I think they have clappers or some kind of fan giveaway.
They do. Carolina Lopez with 5 to shoot. Turns the corner. Rejected inside by Perez. And she yelled after the block.
The solid help defense. Great. It starts with your body and feet, right? Great positioning and put you in a position to get to the ball. 1.9 seconds on the shot clock. Huge defensive stop opportunity here for Chile.
1.9 for Colombia to shoot. Lopez got it off in time. Banks it in. Need a protractor to see that angle.
That's incredibly tough not to be present there on that catch like that.
Perez the other way. Can't get it to go. And last touch, they say, by Chile. What a shot by Lopez to close that possession as the shot clock was expiring. And what a recovery mentally after she was blocked initially. Campos moving her feet, staying in front of Lopez that time. Under a minute to play here in the first half. Vente sets. Lopez trying to find Vente. She'll take the shot instead. And good rebound there by Perez. Perez has played well here in this first half. Here she is on the basketball. Rejects the screen from Sanchez. Finds the cutting Campos. Can't get it to go. There's about 3 layups where Campos has made a great cut, but just hasn't been able to finish it.
Yeah, she's just kind of chucking it up there, right? A couple times.
Delgado. Excuse me, that's Lopez. Valentina Lopez drilling the mid-range jump shot. And a giveaway. Munoz for 3. Indeed. Back-breaking plays right there to give Colombia their largest lead of the game. Sanchez, Lubicic, good if it goes. And that's how we end the first half. Momentum-sucking plays for Colombia as they head to the locker room with a 12-point advantage here after the first 20 minutes of play in Santiago, Chile.
Self-inflicting a little bit there for Chile at the end. A couple tough misses, but then just on the inbounds, right? The defensive stop that didn't happen, but then the turnover to a 3. The back-breaking, absolutely. But that conversation, it's halftime. There's a lot of time. 1 for 12 from long range is tough. A lot of those shots have been contested because of the defense that Colombia's played. To me, that's why they've willed their way to the lead that they have. It's been on the defensive end.
Colombia 9 assists on their 31 points. Munoz leading the way with 9 points. The captain has stepped up in a hostile environment and given her team a 12-point advantage into the halftime break. Let's take a look at the best plays from the second quarter.
There's going to be a lot of Colombia here.
Yeah, it will
warning
be.
you.
Yeah, Lopez came off the bench, was able to get some crucial jump shots to fall. Lubicic, the leading scorer on the team, averaging 50 in a game coming into this tournament. Question for the second half will be, who's going to help her score?
It doesn't have to be one person, right? Committee would be great to get that ball. Most of these teams I found that have had the most success are the ones that have had such a balanced attack. You certainly don't mind if one player gets hot, but as Chile has, I think their biggest ignitable player, if you will, is Lubicic. But guess who else knows that and probably thinks that? Colombia. They're not giving her opportunities and they're not giving her shots. This is the type of thing right there that Chile needs. Tough, straight line drives, but then also the finishing, right? Like really intentional with their finishes. They're fine when they're, I don't want to say overhand, but the scooping stuff and throwing it up is just not working right now against Colombia.
Yeah, going to the basket strong has paid off to the tune of 14 of their 19 points coming in the paint. So when they get there, they've been able to score, but they also have left a couple of points on the table by not going as strong as they should have to the hole. That was a shot, that was a mind bender hitting the top of the window and falling from three-point range. And right now at the half, it's a 31-19 game in favor of Colombia. They played great defense. We'll be back with more to talk about it after this.
This isn't a moment. It's a time unlike any before.
It's not a request, not a maybe, not a someday.
This is now. Feel our presence, built on strength
and drive. Not rising, we are arriving. Not hoping, but owning.
This isn't a moment, it's movement. Constant, relentless.
Every cut, every pass, every shot.
Earned. Taken. Undeniable. The future, it's already here.
Forged in sweat, ruled by queens. When we move, the whole game shifts.
And we're unstoppable in all directions. We own the game.
Corral the ball, and look at her, ball on the string. As an and one mixtape move for pause. Dating myself again as Ramirez drills the three. Mexico stringing some possessions together now to get themselves back into this one.
De Oliveira finds herself an opening. A big three by Emanuele De Oliveira.
The ball movement by the Americans. It's Hidalgo to the basket. Kept it in the foul. Maybelle Martinez feeling herself. Nice pass inside to Lopez. It's Martinez's world, and we're living it.
Turns the corner out to Alexander. She redrives back to the basket. Nice footwork and gets herself open.
Chagas with 5 to shoot. They get it inside. Gauna falling away, rejected by Reynoso.
Gonzalo scoops it up, finds the lane down the right-hand side. It's an and one.
This is Jeffries, the jab, spinning, good footwork in the lane.
She's so dangerous, and if no one is going to get in front of her, she will find a way to get around the smaller defenders, and she did just that.
Can't get it to go, and Miles looking to push the other way. Fires a pass to Stolke, what a look!
Jay Wilson, step back, deep three. Nothing but net. The crowd erupts. And to end the third quarter, Cheyenne Day Wilson.
That is unbelievable. These guys will be legends in their own countries, but also in the international basketball.
Back we are at the Centro de Deportes Colectivos in Santiago, Chile. It's the FIBA Women's AmeriCup at the half. Colombia lead 31-19. Let's take a look at the top scorers for both teams. Jennifer Munoz leading the way for Colombia with 9 big points.
Doing most of her damage from the free throw line. A 4 for 4 from the free throw line.
Cashing in on the freebies, but she's been able to kind of settle Colombia offensively anytime they needed a basket.
Her experience and leadership is invaluable in an environment like this. Like we've touched on it. At times it's been so loud that you can't communicate on offense, you can't communicate on defense. It's very hard to do. And so you lean on your senior or more veteran, I'll say, leaders to just calm down. Look at that. That's such an easy, just curl off a screen. You give me the shot, I'll get 2 feet down, rise and fire. And those are just stabilizing possessions right there.
Yeah, sometimes basketball is an easy game. And right now, Munoz is keeping it simple. On the other side, the leading scorer for Chile has been Lubicic. She's played 14 minutes and 14 top minutes in that first half. They've been defending her tightly, but she's found 5 points and counting in this first half.
Well, watch these clips. Look how hard she's having to work to even catch the ball. Colombia is putting so much pressure on her, so her 5 points, they've been more than earned, to say the least, but she shot 6 for 12 in their last game from long range, 1 for 6 right now. And I know people are gonna look at that 1 and say, oh, it's the 1. I'm going, it's the 6. She's just not getting the attempts either. And I would just lean into the execution defensively from probably what the Colombian locker room coaching staff was asking for, this type of effort defensively, because they're just having trouble finding some clean catches.
So there we are at the half with Colombia leading 31-19 in this one. It is the 4th of 4 games here that we've seen so far on match day number 4. Can you believe it, Amy? We're already on the 4th match day 5. When everything will shake out will happen tomorrow. But earlier this morning we saw Brazil remaining dominant, defeating the Dominican Republic in Group A action. Argentina with a gutsy win over El Salvador, really controlling that one to stay in pace in Group A. And then Puerto Rico with a 17-point advantage over Mexico. And here we are at half of a 31-19 game between Colombia and the host Chile. You saw the team stats there for Colombia after the first half of play. We'll get Chile's here in a second. But one thing to point out for Chile, their offense has dried up from the perimeter, but inside they've been kind of making it a point to get to the paint. 14 paint points in that first half.
That's been their advantage. 14 out of 19 of their points.
And they could have had more.
Yeah, they could. Well, they could have had a lot more. 7 for 19 from inside, so they've missed some chippies. But that's where they're averaging 15 points a game in the paint. So the fact that they have 14 right now, that's saying a lot, right? They are getting downhill. But a lot of those are in fast break off of a couple turnovers or steals. That's where they found their best opportunities on the run, not against a set defense. And probably part of their conversation too is digging deep defensively, because with those stops you can get out to run. They don't want to be settling in a half-court offense against this Colombian defense.
Let's take a look at some of the team stats for Chile. As they pop up on your screen on the other side, Colombia has actually been getting 15 points off the bench in the first half from the likes of Lopez and Lopez. Sounds like a law firm.
Lopez and Lopez. Sounds like an expensive law firm.
Yeah, they've been getting the job done, though.
Well,
here.
Which law firm is not expensive?
It's true. Very true. Lubicic with the 5 points leading the way for Chile in this one. And Amy, you talked about the defense that Colombia has been playing. We've been raving about it, in fact, and we've now had the opportunity to see Colombia play multiple times. And this is easily their best performance on the defensive end. And they've been really making it tough, like on Chile, to just even get into their sets.
And listen, we're talking about their tough defense. They've only they've only committed 3 fouls that entire first half. To play that aggressively and only get called 3 fouls, like, that is excellent defense. So we'll see it. And the counter to that, Chile, I would say, just first of all, take a deep breath.
Right.
You want to run, but if you can't and in your half court, you've got a shot clock, but at the same time, to me, when you start an offense, what you need is one good solid screen to get the defense out of rotation. And with this Colombian lineup, if Paz is out there, put her in a ball screen and force Colombia to make a decision. At least that creates an initial advantage. And now you are going against a defense that is probably reacting. Sometimes you just try to go too fast on things, right? And then it's hard to create your advantages on offense. So not out of the game by any means, still lots of time, but I would say the first couple minutes, as we usually do, you have to set a tone and try to chip back into this a little bit here.
If you're Colombia, you got the draw here where you had to play 4 straight days on every single match day up until this point. But the benefit of that now, if you're able to close out this victory with the next 20 minutes, is that you now have 2 rest days before the games really get tough in the quarterfinals and the knockout stage. As you see a presentation here to the local LSC from FIBA. The local LSC, the local organization committee who have put on this event, has done an incredible job of really not just making it feel like a big time event here in the arena, but outside the arena. You walk around town, you're starting to feel like people are here and excited that this FIBA AmeriCup is here in their hometown in the capital city of Chile. And hopefully this is a sign of things to come for those women, fans of this team, fans of this game in this country. It's always one of the wonderful things we get to experience when we travel for the game of basketball.
Yeah, clearly a passion for their sport here, but also just, I think, proud to show what this country is about, because these volunteers and the local staff, I mean, they have been second to none.
Yeah,
it really has been awesome. So
absolutely. And there's still more games to come. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, courtside 1891. That's your companion app for the FIBA AmeriCup. You can also follow along with other FIBA events like the U19 World Cup that's going on the boys' side over in Switzerland. I had some exciting highlights out of that one. Catch it on the courtside 1891 app, your home for international basketball. Start of the second half here in Santiago, Chile. It is Chile's basketball, and they are down 31-19 to Colombia. Carlin Gay alongside Amy Audibert. Thanks for joining us wherever you are. However you're doing so, Sanchez will pop a 2. She was open for that look, couldn't get it to drop. And Colombia will dribble the other way with Lopez on the floor. Paz, Gonzalez, Maybell Martinez, who's on the rock right now. And the leading scorer of the game so far, Munoz, who has 9 points. Paz inside, blocked by Sanchez. Alarcon will push the other way. She got the start in this second half. Let's see if she can prove her coach right, using the feel she needs to be in this game. Lubicic left it short.
But they forced a switch with Paz, and that's where Lubicic got the open look, and so trying to put her in some kind of action to force something.
Paz trying to present herself in the lane. Lubicic comes over for the steal. Ojeda needed to find a guard and was poked by Munoz. Lopez with numbers. Maybell Martinez driving baseline. Good kick to Munoz. Wasn't ready to shoot it though. It was a good closeout there by Alarcon. Now Munoz ready to shoot. Can't get it to go, and a late whistle as Alarcon with the wild closeout fouls Munoz on the three-point attempt.
That's a tough defensive possession there for Colombia, or excuse me, for Chile, forcing the miss. A little too much drift to the side. It almost looked a little casual. And there's Munoz coming up with a big play again.
You said she's lived at the line. She's going to get 3 shots here after that foul. And listen to this crowd. They're saying Vamos Chile, go Chile. A great atmosphere A couple of Colombian supporters sitting behind the net, getting an opportunity to cheer when that ball went through the hoop.
Brave. They're right in the middle of the fan zone.
Gotta love it.
Oh, wow.
Jerseys, flags, and all for the Colombian supporters, and they've been able to celebrate the last 2 free throws from Munoz, who now creeps into double figures. So Munoz remains perfect from the line tonight. 7 of 7. Ojeda. Perez. And once again, Colombia all over Chile defensively. Munoz on the run, couldn't hold on to it. But Amy, they are taking away the airspace of Chile.
Well, and just that exchange from Chile was so casual with the ball. If you've learned nothing in that first half, you absolutely cannot be casual with that ball tonight against Colombia.
No jogging in your motions. You got to sprint. Sanchez, top of the key, crowd begging her to take to the rack. She does. The up and under's not there for her. That's good defense there by Paz. Paz with the high-low pass inside the Gonzalez, but she had to come all the way back to the top of the key to retreat. Now Paz settling in the paint. And she's had a struggle right in the restricted area to try and make shots. Sanchez driving on Paz, and she traveled. When you're having a night like Paz, who's struggling from the field from really point-blank range, do you go to the glass? What do you got to do to kind of get out of that funk?
First of all, I think she's burying herself a little too deep at the rim. She's not giving herself room to operate. Her team's giving her so much space. She has a clear size advantage. They're letting her catch because they're playing her from behind.
Munoz a shot not there. Ojeda. Her defense hasn't slipped though, Paz. She's been able to try and defend the other way. Lubicic. Alarcon for 3 from the corner. Can't get it to go, and Perez is going to pick up the foul. They're banging into Munoz. Second time Munoz hits the deck. She's okay. She'll pop off.
You would have loved to see Lubicic take that shot.
Yeah.
Love that she's trying to make the extra pass, but she shook the defense. That would have been a rhythm shot off the bounce for her. She's one of their best three-point shooters. And so it kind of speaks again to Chile, just mentally flustered.
Abujeles comes into the game 25 in white for Chile. She's now on the assignment of trying to hold down Paz. And Carolina Lopez calling out a set. Abel Martinez, watched by Lubicic. Lopez. Munoz, good hands there by Perez. It ends up in the hands of Paz. Going to work, falling away, can't get it to drop, and a shot clock violation.
That's great interior defense there from Catalina, just owning her space, holding it, forcing Paz to actually fade away and scoop a shot. You have to live with that right now.
Perez using the Abujeles screen and able to convert for the first 2 of the third quarter for Chile. 5 and counting for Perez. Crowd coming alive defensively. Gonzalez, they go back to Paz on the block. She has space to work and throws up a wild shot. Coach Cuenta looks back at his bench.
And once again, Aburay is just holding her ground.
While Paz hasn't shot the ball well offensively, it really hasn't impacted her defense. She comes down there for the help, but too late. As Ojeda able to get one to fall through. And now back-to-back baskets. And this crowd is alive here in Santiago. Gonzalez, they go inside to Paz once again. Paz finally gets one to go. Points in the paint, the advantage right now to Chile, 18-10. Alarcon crossing over. Lost control of it for a second. Got it to Perez. Ojeda inside. Aviles pulls. And Lopez wants to slow things down. Lopez runs off the Paz. Finds Paz down the lane. Can't get it to fall. Follows her own, and maybe at the foul line she'll have better luck than she's had in the restricted area.
How about Lopez orchestrating that quick little hit? And then, so that's exactly what I mean when I'm talking about Chile struggling offensively. It's one simple hit.
Yeah.
And it really like walk the ball up and then just turn the Jets on after that one hit. And it created a wide open layup essentially. All you need is some space and one good hit at times. And so for Chile, that's gotta lean. I would love to see them lean into something like that.
Yeah. 13-point advantage for Colombia. Paz staring into a sea of balloons. And able to get the roll on the second. Vente will check in for Paz. And there's Coach Santander. And the emotions of this game running high. Still time for his team, though. Try and reduce this lead. Ojeda for three. Indeed. A confident stroke that time.
Right on the release, it looked good. And with that jab to give her some momentum. See if that can give her team a little bit of energy here.
Lopez running off of Vente. She steps back. That's pure.
Huge response.
Lopez has played well here tonight. Whether it's making some timely baskets or coming up with a defensive stop or finding one of the bigs on the roll, she's making the right decisions. What a block, Maybell Martinez. Rejection on Lubicic. Here's Lopez again. And Munoz. Martinez wants it. They didn't find her. Munoz draws two. Vente underneath. And she's fouled by Ojeda.
Vente did an excellent job of really making herself present. Telling everybody in the gym I'm wide open. There's that catch and release three. Blocked from behind.
Martinez has been quite offensively, but a loud block that time. Campos back into the game. Lubicic will sit. And Perez and Cousinho on the floor. So bookmark this moment for Chile as their leading scorer goes to the bench, down 13.
And I believe,
make it 14.
I believe this is the first time we're seeing Campos in the second half.
It is. Started the game struggled and was benched to start the third quarter.
And most of the third quarter, so all eyes on her. Still enough time, but can she push her team and will them back into the fight here?
We'll have a timeout on the floor before we answer that question. 41-26, Colombia in front with 3:42, excuse me, remaining in the third period. Let's listen in to the Chile huddle.
Javiera, vení por este lado por Cata Pérez. Y vas a entrar a hacer un back diagonal a Valentina. Vamos a mostrársela así a ellos. Y Cata Bulleres acá va a hacer esta pantalla. Entonces, Valentina, jugá la finta para cortar por detrás y salís al frente acá un tiro. Esto una vez. Otra vez en el zipper que jugaron ustedes, ella cambiaron. Si Muñoz queda con Valentina, se la damos de vuelta. La atacás uno contra uno en el poste bajo. Ahora vamos por un tiro 3 puntos. Escuchá. Si convertimos, vamos 22. 22. Necesitamos encontrar la racha ofensiva y la racha defensiva. No gol.
Well, Lopez has come in and played well for Colombia here tonight. Getting the start in this one. You see Ojeda who has been able to get inside and finish a couple of baskets. Her last basket, however, was a three-pointer. Carolina Lopez working on a 7.3 assist night for Colombia. And now defending the basketball as Abiyeris picking up the dribble in Coffin corner. Campos. Cousinho was fouled, and Lopez putting her hand up right away saying, yes, that was me.
Well, Colombia coming out of the timeout with that full court trapping type press. Chile did a really nice job of breaking it and then drawing the foul.
It's the first team foul here for Colombia in this quarter. And it's also the first foul on Lopez tonight. Ojeda wants it on Munoz. They get it inside to her. The double comes. Abiyeris moves it quickly. Good pass to Cousinho. That was good offense. They just couldn't complete it. Last touch, they say, by Colombia. Will stay here. That was a great play by Campos, sticking with it.
And Lopez is pleading for a challenge, but I thought that was definitely the right call. I'm not usually good at those in real time. But maybe not.
We'll have to wait to be continued for the next time we get a replay like that. I think you were right. I'm going to back you on this one.
Okay.
We're a team over here. Abiyeris rolling. Campos has it. She has to put it up. Cousinho couldn't get it off in time and almost banked it in anyway. As a shot clock violation. And again, Colombia flexing their muscles defensively that time.
Yeah, just continuing to grind it down, and even on the passing, just present on catches, not getting beat off the first step, all those things. It just feels like they're doing it all tonight, not just one thing.
Lopez watched by Campos. Vente screens. Campos trying to navigate through those screens. Caicedo. Two to shoot. Floater not there. And Perez with the rebound. Chile want to run. Ojeda called for it. Once more pass. It's Campos open for three. Left it short. And Lopez has it now. Chile sitting back in his zone. And Caicedo realizing it, wants to run some zone offense. He sees Vente there, sitting in the kill zone, as Amy likes to call it. Now switches spots with Gonzalez. And that's a shot clock violation. Just took too long to get into their zone offense.
Yeah, and then it looked like they were trying to dribble attack against it first. And they had a beautiful high-low seal, just didn't hit it. And if you don't hit it right away, defense on the back line can usually recover out of that.
Campos picking their dribble up in a dead area. Was bailed out there by Abiyeris and then bailed out again by Vente on the foul.
Campos just attacking Vente on the perimeter, leaning into her body and forcing that. Last couple offensive possessions, Chile's gotten some nice shots, in particular this corner three. Not putting them down, but they're generating shots more consistently than we saw in the first half. So take a deep breath and loosen up. Still not out of this game here.
Ganeo coming into the game for the first time tonight for Chile, number 4 in white. By the way, that was the first foul on Vente, second team foul here in the quarter for Colombia. This is Ganeo trying to handle the Caicedo pressure. Cousinho banging inside, a wild shot. That is incredible defense by Mugello.
Caicedo did not allow the ball handler to use the screen, and that's where that entire offensive sequence completely broke down for Chile. They just couldn't use the ball screen.
Back to a zone for Chile here. They get it. The high-low is there, but then it's fumbled by Gonzalez. For young players at home, how important is it to get the ball into the middle of that zone as quickly as you can?
Yeah, I believe it's the most important thing against the zone, because if you have a good high post passer, they can square up. They're going to collapse. There's going to be an opening, and you can see the entire court the offensive end from that spot. It's literally why it's called the kill box. You get it in there, you're usually going to be able to find a good shot.
What a block that time by Vente. And she recovered and rejects Ojeda. We've seen some great blocks so far in this game. Lopez, pure.
She's been my unsung hero tonight, and I know she scored a lot, so you can say, well, she's singing, but just think the way her approach to the game tonight, coming into the bench, off the bench, knocking down some easy shots right off the bat, really got this crowd under control.
Yeah, 9 points and counting for Lopez. 4 rebounds and 3 dimes.
The timing of her buckets, to me, I think they've been what stands out most.
Vente in the lane was fouled on the top of the head. And I know the plus-minus stat sometimes is a little bit tricky. Tonight, it feels like Lopez is indeed a plus 21 in her time on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I lean into a little impacting winning if you're on the court. You know, how does your team do when you're on the court?
She's going to get a well-deserved rest here to close this quarter. And that will bring on Valentina Lopez, 21 in black. Meanwhile, it is Vente at the line. Off the mark on the first.
And just an observation for Colombia, Rios really hasn't played much tonight. She's on the bike. She's kind of warming up or just pumping her legs or whatnot. And you wonder if Colombia is thinking ahead and trying to give her some time.
Yeah.
But they have 2 days now.
Yeah, 2 back-to-back rest days before the knockout stage. And should they hold on to this win, they will be there, and they will eventually find out who their opponent will be on Friday. That's how we end the third quarter, as Colombia, with a defensive effort, holding Chile to 26 points after 3.
7 in the third quarter. So if you were Chile, you were hoping you'd be able to get into that third quarter and surge a little bit offensively, and felt like the opposite happened, to say the least.
Third quarter stats on your screen just there. And now we'll get an opportunity to take a look at the best pictures from that third period. And it is all Colombia, as Amy mentioned, just 7 points in that quarter for Chile. And by the way, back-to-back 7-point quarters as Colombia puts the clamps on the hosts.
Yeah, that was a beautiful finish inside. O'Hare had a couple really nice buckets in that third quarter. I thought that she was going to be able to initiate a nice run for her team, but they had to go up against that Colombian defense, and it's hard to score. That was a big one right there.
Yeah, she had 5 of the 7 points in the third quarter. Saw her 2 baskets right there, and the confidence stroke. You'd like to see her be a little bit more aggressive offensively as we enter this fourth.
Yeah, the defense is respecting her drive, but guess what? Like, that was such a comfortable shot for her. And if Chile wants to push back into this game, when you're down increments, can you get it to 10 by a certain time? That's how you look. I don't think you approach this as being down in total. It's increments. And if you can get it to 10 by, let's go right halfway, 5 minutes, you got yourself a game.
And that's a very doable thing to do.
Absolutely. But first couple possessions are monumental.
All you need is a ball and a dream.
Yes, sir.
And all you need to follow along is a courtside 1891 at. Andreas has been busy here, handing out prizes and gifts to the local organization committee here in Chile. Well deserved for the fantastic event they put on thus far. 1 quarter remaining here in this one on match day number 4, as Paz, spinning in the lane, missed it, followed her own, and she'll have to earn it at the line.
Many times tonight, Paz has gotten her own offensive rebound. Really tough as a defender when you're just trying to hold your ground legally and not lean, but then turn around and get a quick box.
Yeah.
We've seen Paz really be able to take advantage of that a lot tonight. I thought she gave a little hook chicken wing on that turnaround, and
Veteran move.
Yeah, very, very much.
She has 5 offensive rebounds, 8 total, and now 8 points to go along with her 8 boards. Guineo on the floor with Abilleres, Ojeda, Andujar, and Perez. For Colombia, it's Caicedo, Maybelle Martinez, Victoria Lopez, Mugello, and Paz. Paz wants it on the block. Abilleres not going to allow them to inbound it. Caicedo sees the shot clock, just got it off in time.
What a big bucket. That's clutch. It almost looked over back, and I'm not sure if that stunned Chile a little bit.
Yeah. Anadul turning the corner on Mugello. She gets the block. Abilleres knocks down the midi.
I like that she got some scoring opportunities because her defensive effort has been great tonight.
She's had her hands full of paws every time she checked into the game, and that is a very physical battle she's had. The ice bath is calling her name after this one. Speaking of physical battles, Guineo dumping Lopez to the deck with the good sportsmanship as she helps her back up. It's the second team foul here in the quarter and the second foul on Guineo.
Colombia has also been really active on offense. They got their offense where they're going 4 out and trying to feed it inside the Paz, but outside of that, they do run some nice cuts, and that's why we're that foul just got called right there.
5 to shoot for Maybelle Martinez. Caicedo got a last second heave to go last time. Can't get it to go this time. When you're talking about some of those cuts, there's the, oh no, she just walking a tightrope, and here's the bucket that she hit at the end of the shot clock. When you're talking about Paz getting some of that space with these cuts off the ball, you know, the average viewer's kind of ball watching a little bit, but that off the ball action, break it down for us a little bit.
Well, it's imperative because you are engaging defense. If you're just standing there offensively and watching, I mean, defense could drop. You're not engaging or forcing any type of weak side action, so it's really important. And also, I mean, I always say, especially post-entry passes, usually the weak side, some kind of exchange is usually wide open. And if you have a great post passer, and a great post passer loves to do all those fancy behind the back, no look off the deck, right?
Perez in and out. This Asia Wilson is does some of the best work from the nail.
Yeah.
Brianna Stewart as well.
There's a post player named Janelle McCarville, who played back in the day for the Minnesota Lynx. The best post passer I've ever seen in my life.
Strong drive there by Guineo, goes out of bounds. Chile still showing some fight with 7 minutes left in this one.
We said 10 by 5 minutes. They're still
within striking distance.
Exactly.
Here's Perez. Hard screen there by Ojeda. Perez gets inside. Can't get it to go. Abilleres had a fingertip to it, and it lands in the hands of Caicedo. Lopez wants it. Gets it on the block, and a foul's going to be called. Crowd's not going to like that one.
The crowd's just asking for consistency in the paint on both ends. And they will certainly let you know. They'll let their team know. They'll let the officials know.
No question. Delgado checks into the game, as does Vente. Paz leaves with Maybelle Martinez. And Valentina Lopez will toe the line. She played in the 2024 South America Championship, helped in Portes win a gold medal at the WBLA in 2023 and 2024, and averaged 9.5 points in 2024. So the lead stretches to 20. On a duel for 3, quick trigger, can't get it to fall. And Caicedo doing a good job of just blocking out to make sure it falls out of bounds.
And it's unfortunate for Chile because they have generated much better looks here in the second half, just haven't been able to put them down.
Well, Ljubicic, a terrific shooter, now back on the floor for potentially these last 6.5 minutes remaining in this one. They're going to generate offense. It might come off of her. Delgado for 3. It's not there, and Ljubicic has it. Ganeo will run. Her pass read by Lopez, and then Lopez gave her right back. Ganeo, bounce pass inside to Perez for 2. Caicedo walking the tightrope once again.
And now she clipped the line.
Delgado. Lopez, Vente coming across the lane. It's Caicedo, shows the up fake, then finds Vente. Partially blocked, but still made its way to the rim.
Just enough spacing to get that ball popping around in smaller spaces, if you will, but excellent cut inside from Vente.
Perez with a bad pass as she taps her chest as she trots back on defense, knowing there wasn't much there for Ojeda to work with. Vente hands to Delgado, almost gave it away. It's going to stay here with 9 seconds for Colombia to shoot.
Well, Carlin, you mentioned Colombia playing their final game of pool play tonight. I know 4 straight probably doesn't feel great looking at the schedule. Huge 3. Oh, wow. Caicedo with it. She's had a night herself.
She has.
But when this one's over and you've done enough to get out of the pool, you're in a great position. 2 days.
Yeah.
A lot more than 1.
2 days to rest and recover. That's a great read, Morello, with the layup. And that's going to lead to a timeout as Colombia extends the lead to 25, matching their largest lead of the game with 4:47 remaining in this one. And now Colombia can start thinking about chipping away at that point differential.
Yeah.
They came into this game a -29 after the big loss to Team USA.
Probably part of that conversation right now for Chile is, hey, let's not forget, if you guys want to pack it in, like, you don't get to pack it in right now. They are going to continue to play. They have something to play for. Actually, you also have something to play for. Look around. Look at these people. They deserve your best of efforts. And you see Coach locking into some strategy. Let's just execute. Run through our sets. Get some good shots. If I've learned one thing about this crowd is they care less about the score and more about just they want to see you out there playing hard and tough.
Yeah, they want the effort.
And Chile's got another one tomorrow night against Puerto Rico. You want these people to come back, right? You want them to come back and be proud and excited. This is a really tough pass. It's over 8 defenders, right? There's the entire defense right there.
And Morello, who's played very sparingly in this tournament, getting an opportunity to play here tonight. And these are minutes that she could bottle up and potentially make an impact later on in the tournament.
I like to believe you're always auditioning when you're here playing in these national tournaments for your federations. You're always auditioning. Every 4 years you hope to get an opportunity, right? It's about the puzzle pieces. Can you fit a piece of that puzzle?
It's the greatest honor you can have as a basketball player. Only 1 of 12 get to wear the national team jersey at the respective events. And Morello, with just 22 years of age, getting an opportunity here. Ljubicic tied up Delgado, but somehow she was able to spray out a pass to Lopez, but could hit the 3. Ljubicic, Cousinho. Alarcon wants to clear it out. Sanchez with a tough screen. It's behind her, the pass. Coutinho with the shot clock winding down, and this defense is suffocating until they foul. The foul is Lopez is calling for it to be on the floor. The official says it's 2 shots.
And when you work this hard defensively, you're having fun too. It is. It's a fun style of play. It's unfortunate for the other side, no doubt. It's frustrating for them, but as a team, and we talked about that half-decade experience together, like they're in their zone right now. They're playing their style. They're having fun, and you can tell. You really can.
The other part of having the 2 off days back-to-back is now you know you can empty the tank with 341 and just go all out because you know you have the off day. This is it. Light at the end of the tunnel to get that rest.
And so that's why I lean into a little bit with Rios not being available here in the second half, and certainly something that we'll have to monitor and keep our eyes on, because that would be a huge narrative going into their, if they advance out of their pool, which it looks like they will.
Yeah. Coming into this game, she was averaging 27 minutes per game. That's a lot of minutes, a lot of miles running around, especially chasing guards. And
maybe because Campos is not playing many minutes tonight on the other end, they're just matching those. And
Gonzalez was hacked there, and she'll go to the line for 2. And you're right about that. We kind of highlighted it at the top. It would be a nice matchup between 2 of the smaller guards here in the tournament at 5'4". It's Rios and Campos. Campos struggled in that first half, got benched to start this half, and Rios, I guess, was outplayed really by Lopez, because Lopez came in and stabilized the offense and has been able to carry this load.
So what you're saying is it's real fun when your players to watch don't play.
Right.
And then there's not much to watch.
Good on us.
Why did we even show up? Just kidding.
We're the experts handling the business.
That's called sports. Yeah, that's called sports.
Perez on the backdoor cut. A nice feed there by Coutinho.
That may have been the prettiest kind of connection we've seen all night for Chile right there on the back door. And you don't get backdoor cuts like that unless the defense is playing that tough, but fell asleep a little bit there.
Lopez getting into her bag on the crossover. Left alone, jump shot in and out. And Sanchez clears. Lubicic turns the corner. No look pass this side to Perez. It's Sanchez down low on Lopez. Sanchez stripped by Delgado. Great dig down by Delgado.
Yeah, perfect time. He got her hands on the ball. You're seeing Chile really hustle through some stuff right now. And so probably got the message in that timeout. Finishing this one off strong. So important for this team right now.
They've played hard for that man right there, Coach Santander. And for the 3,000 plus jam-packed this arena.
This is the senior women's national team. You are setting an example for so many. When you look around, you see so many young boys and young girls in the stands, and they're watching you, and on one end line they're standing up with markers getting ready for you to sign their shirts. You have to, it's a responsibility. You're representing something much bigger than yourself, and so you have to play tough through the remainder of this game. The ripple effect is just, you just can't measure it.
There was a golden era of Chilean basketball on the women's side back in the 1940s and 50s, where they were able to finish second in the inaugural Women's Basketball World Cup in 1953. That's a pretty big accomplishment for a country this size, and they would love to get back to that tradition and history. And it starts with events like this. They haven't been able to qualify for a World Cup. They qualified for this one because they're hosting it. The last time they qualified for a World Cup was because they were hosting it back in 2007. But moments like this, building upon this, getting the momentum, and hopefully qualifying for the next AmeriCup will allow them to kind of just grow this program, because this is the ground level, and you can see that there is a seal, there's the sky that kind of is the limit for, you know, the imagination of this Chilean Basketball Federation.
Yeah, and you said the magic word growth, and that's what just growing a little bit at a time. What was the goals coming into this week? Did you accomplish? Are you, and still got a game to play too, so it's not over. But you know, I think that's part of looking at when you're starting to build a foundation of what you'd hope to be something special for decades to come.
Yeah.
It's a little at a time. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah. I mean, hosting this event and the games that we're seeing play out in front of us was just part of this AmeriCup being here in Santiago. We had a conversation with some of the coaches that have come over from America, doing clinics with some of the youth, kind of getting them at the grassroots level to prepare them for when they get to this stage and what they can be when they eventually get here. So it'll be a matter of time before Chile starts to make some noise here in the AmeriCup, or the Americas region. And as you mentioned, Amy, they do have one more game against Puerto Rico tomorrow. So one more opportunity to pull off an upset and really kind of shake things up here in this Group B. And by the way, Puerto Rico has left the door open for them to be kind of upset here, as they lost their last 2 games in a fashion that they probably shouldn't have. Time winding down here in this one. Elgato on the step back, can't get that to go. So we'll see Chile tomorrow take on Puerto Rico. It was now 2-1 in the group. Mexico at 1-2 will take on Team USA. And Colombia will watch it all unfold as they have taken care of business here in Santiago through 4 games. They go to 2-2. And this capacity crowd going to clap their national team off the floor despite the loss, as they put up a valiant effort in this one. Munoz, the star tonight for Colombia. She led the way with 12 points. And Colombia take a win, 59-33, to get to 2-2 in Group B.
I like you use the word take. They did. They took this one and they took it on. They started on the defensive end. They made some shots. They ran out and had some nice buckets. But really, really the defensive effort to hold Chile to 33 points. Incredible effort defensively. That 2 for 21 at 10%. I'll say that a good chunk of them were open, just missing a shot. But then there was another chunk of them, highly contested, tough shot. So Colombia clearly with the game plan well executed in this big one, and they should be in. Only for the adults, maybe some Chilean wine tomorrow or something, just a little relax, enjoy your day, have some fun. That's part of it too. Take in some of the culture. They've certainly earned it, and what a game for them to end their pool play on. Really should have confidence moving forward.
You know what? You're making me jealous. I feel like I want to join Colombia in whatever they're doing here in Santiago. And a reminder, Moscarella out with the leg injury. You see her leg wrapped up center court as they huddle. Rios looks okay. We expect to see her in the knockout stage, and we expect to see this team, if they're playing defense like that, they're going to be tough to beat.
So feisty. I hadn't seen that the first couple games from them. All the credit in the world to Colombia for winning this game tonight, and in the toughest of circumstances, right? This crowd is awesome.
Yeah.
They're incredible, but they're loud. They're very loud, and it's hard. It's hard to get through rotations on either side of the ball when you can't hear each other, and that's where you really lean into that togetherness and experience and chemistry that they've built with this coach and this core for a very long time.
They held Chile to 23% from the field. Moscarella, the 17-year-old teenage star, unfortunately won't be a part of the rest of this tournament. And she got banged up, but she can still celebrate with her team as they take the victory pose. And a lot of these photos, so fun to see the national team just be excited to be here and represent their country, pop in their jerseys.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. 6 players for Colombia today had 7+ points, so a very balanced attack. Munoz led with 12, but Paz had 9. Vente had 7, so just a lot of balance, which is what you want at this point in the tournament, no doubt.
Yeah, Carolina Lopez came off the pine and gave Colombia the 9 points. That kind of stabilized their offense, pulled down 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and her and Valentina Lopez led the way with a +22 and +23 respectively in terms of their time on the floor. On the other side, for Chile, they had some moments in this game where they could probably bottle up and say to themselves, we bring this tomorrow against Puerto Rico, we give ourselves a chance in front of our home crowd, as they have one game remaining in group play to get a victory. And if they lose that, that will be the end of their road here at the AmeriCup.
Yeah, 7 steals for Chile. I'm sure they want to bring those into tomorrow night.
No question.
At times they played really gritty and tough, just unable to complete offensive possessions in particular. That's the story of the game. 14 for 61 from the field, 23%. That's really hard to win any kind of game. That orange sphere, only way you could score. The only way you can score in the game is if you put that through the rim, and some nights it just doesn't want to go in for you.
Should be fun on match day 5. We'll kick things off for Brazil and El Salvador. The U.S. will take on Mexico, then Canada, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico and Chile will cap the night. There's your updated standings from Group B. Team USA with a 3-0 record tops the group. Colombia will have the rest day tomorrow. They are now 2-2, sitting in second spot. Puerto Rico with an opportunity to overtake them for that second spot with a victory over Chile if they're able to pull it off tomorrow night. Hope you enjoyed this one. Match day 4 in the books. We will see you for match day number 5 bright and early tomorrow, 11:40 a.m. as Brazil takes on El Salvador. But for now, we wish you a good night. For Amy Audibert, I'm Carlin Gay. We'll see you soon.